All right, today we're talking about common chord progressions, and I'm doing a little series of videos, each one discussing a specific type of chord progression that you're going to run into over and over and over again. This is not weird, complicated, crazy, giant steps kind of stuff. This is the stuff that you're going to find in the foundation of chord progression in all the great standard tunes. And today we're going to look at the 4 minor chord. And now the 4 minor chord, if we're in the key of C, the C major chord, and then moving to the F major, which is the 4 chord, with all the notes derived from the scale of C. And then we go to the 4 minor. And that 4 minor takes our major third, lowers it to make it a minor chord, and then we normally resolve to C, right? So here's a C to the 4, to the 4, and to the back to the 1. All right. Where does the 4 minor chord come from? The 4 minor chord comes from the parallel minor key. In the key of C minor, the 4 chord is F minor. What we do now is we take that F minor and we insert it into the key of C major. This is a super common chord progression, and I suggest you listen to some tunes. I mean, it's just everywhere. Listen for the 4 minor chord. I was just doing Stardust, and it opens with 4 and going to the right off the top, going to the 4 minor chord. Just Friends starts on the C major, which is the 4 chord because we're actually in the key of G major, and then it goes immediately to the 4 minor. And I'm thinking of a Roy Orbison tune. Just about every tune that he wrote went to the 4 minor. But there are far more than that. I mean, we could go on and on. Listen for the 4 minor. Now let's just, because chords come from scales, if I say that this is from the parallel minor C minor key, F minor is from C minor. What happens to the 2 chord, which is the relative minor to F? Right? The D minor is relative to F major. In F major, if I lower the third of that chord, which is an A, and I lower that, and it gives me an F minor. If I take the D minor chord and I lower the A and make it a D minor 7, I now have a D minor 7 flat 5. So that has the same effect as this change, F, F minor, and C. Here I have D minor. Same deal, right? So that A flat note in both cases of either the F or the D minor, that A flat implies a C minor, but it often resolves to a C major. Right? Okay, so F minor is the 4 minor chord that's borrowed from the parallel minor key, D minor 7 flat 5. So the D minor 7 flat 5 functions as a subdominant chord the same way that the F minor chord does. So they function in the same way. If we insert a dominant chord sound, which we can do, we can go C to F minor, G7, and C. We can do the same thing here, C, right, and then D minor 7 flat 5. So we just lowered that A just like we did with the F, moving to a G, and then resolving to a C. That's the same function as these cowboy chords. Listen to the similarity. The same idea, the same functions. So back to where do those chords come from? They come from the parallel minor key of C minor. When you see a D minor 7 flat 5, it doesn't come from C because it can't be derived from C because of that A flat. It can, however, be derived from C minor, which has an A flat in it. The same thing goes for the F minor chord, borrowed from the parallel minor key. So think of that single note, that all-important single note of A moving to A flat. That's what gives us that movement from the F to the F minor to the C, and from the D minor to the D minor 7 flat 5 to the C. There's the movement. Okay. So this is another little chapter in chord progression. These are essential chord progressions for you to be able to hear and recognize immediately because they are, as I mentioned before, ubiquitous, especially in pop music, of the last century and beyond. Check out my video talking about the secondary dominant chord. You start putting those sounds together and you will be amazed at how much you have heard them in the past. Thanks a lot. See you soon.